Greetings, good listeners. Shanga here from Otherworldly Giants Storytelling School. I am a planetary priestess and multiverse historian. Okay, so today in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the basics of what is safe and effective activist energy healing. So we've been talking about activist energy healing on this channel in the last few videos. And so in this video and the next one, I want to talk about, well, how do you do it safely and effectively? So, okay, we know that genocide on the planet is happening on all levels, including the energetic level. So we know this because we know that there's more to the body than just the physical. There's the emotional body, the psychological body, there's the celestial, astrological body, there's the spiritual body. And we need to remind ourselves that this genocide is happening on every single level that I just named, right? And so if we don't address the issue on every level that it's happening, the problem will continue to repeat itself. And we know this from energy healing, right? So if you might stop the problem over here, you might stop the genocide over here, but you might just suppress it and not actually transmute it energetically or holistically. So it might stop over here temporarily, but then it just moves to another part of the body, right? But so let's talk about some of the complexities on how activist energy healing actually works. This is a huge topic, but let's focus on one thing today, or a couple things in this video and the next one. So I want to speak to the fact that, I've heard people say recently in the last couple months, in reference to what's happening in occupied Palestine, and the need for a ceasefire. I've heard people say, energy healers, come on, cast your spells for ceasefire. Okay, so the important thing I want to say about that is this. I don't recommend individually or even collectively casting a spell for ceasefire directly on, say, the state of Israel to get them to stop bombing, for example. At least not where we're at in our collective development. So I don't recommend an energy healing that is about casting a spell on a thing that is as huge as that, or throwing your magic out at the oppressor. And it does make sense of why some of us might intuitively feel like we want to do that, because other kinds of activism work like that, right? If we are going to organize a protest outside of a consulate building, that works for that activist technology. You show up at the oppressor's door with a protest. But energy healing is different. If we try and magically, directly attack those big colonial entities, we have to recognize that these are multidimensional conglomerates. We don't actually have the ability to comprehend in our consciousness how deep the energetics of genocide actually go. So doing magic like that, in my opinion, is at best ineffective and at worst dangerous. So we can look at 3 different potential scenarios that can happen when you work like that. 1, okay, so if this is the big colonial entity that you're trying to put a spell on, and this is you little one individual, and you send your magic out, it's so big that your magic does this. It just dissipates. Right? Nothing happens. 2, second scenario, in interacting with that, you could open yourself up spiritually and magically to the energetics of whatever is going on here. And especially because there's so much propaganda, it could mess you up psychologically, spiritually. It can cause brain fog, self-doubt, confusion. It can bring up a lot of your own really deep wounds. that can attack your body. It can cause self-harm. Um, so we don't want that. Or three, what you would actually do, in one scenario is to put a spell on a conglomerate like that is that you would conjure the really, really old ancestors within you, as well as your future self, who is actually powerful enough to take on that conglomerate and dismantle it. But in the process, you would fuck up your own life, right? Because if this is that old, powerful, or future part of you, and this is you right here, that energy comes like this, okay? And then it's like, what? That little job that pays your bills? I don't care about that. I have no allegiance to capitalism. That's that part of you speaking. What? That little relationship you're in right now that your heart is set on? Like, you're gonna break up in 2 years. I don't care about that. I promise. I'm sure I'm not talking about you and the lovely relationship you're in right now, but the point is that next thing you know, you don't have a job, you don't have any way to pay your bills, and you're heartbroken. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, sometimes, many times, when we're ready to level up in our lives, like, we do lose things. Sometimes there is like a larger force that comes in and it does break up a relationship or move you into a different realm in your life because you were ready for that at that time. And we do need to learn how to lose things as a species, because we can't evolve or heal or see the full fruition of our freedom movements without being ready to lose certain things that we're attached to. Um, but for the most part, your ancestors and life itself will protect you from the experience that I just described. And they won't allow that to happen. They won't allow a future version of you to come forward like that before it's time, before, you and we are personally and collectively ready. Um, Dismantling and healing from capitalism truly means that we don't skip over our own growth. We live within our limits. We rest when we need to rest. We take the time that it necessarily takes to build something. And if you haven't built it personally or communally, you don't get to just skip it. Dismantling capitalism means honoring the natural movements of life and death every day so that we can have our full spectrum of life, ongoing transition, and growth. Our ancestors want us to meet the beauty of every single day, not skip over our entire life and land into a future evolved version of ourselves without actually earning it. Energetic activism is most effectively done when we root down into the reality of where we're at today, and we respect where we're at, and we work with it, and we engage. And that's where the medicine is. That's actually the most potent medicine that we need and that we have access to right now. It's right now, right here. And that's, instead of throwing our magic at something dangerous, we move it through our own body, our own lineage, our own stories, our own life experiences. And then we send our healing and our freedom to our ancestors and to the land itself. And that creates a safety and a protection around our personhood and the sacred boundaries around our limits and our life path. In this practice, that colonial conglomerate, it doesn't even enter our energy field. So we are safe from how it would otherwise attack us. But the healing that we offer to our lineage and to the earth and the ancestral realm, it can travel through the earth and through the ancestral plane and make an impact energetically, which was the whole point. Okay, so I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, and I'm going to get into a little bit more of how exactly that works. And in part 2, I'm also going to talk about the difference between individual energy healing as activism and collective. And I will be hosting an online gathering for this purpose, and I'll lead us through how we can do this safely in a very simple way, in a very gentle way, but in a way that's also strong and effective. So this is happening on December 31st in a couple days at exactly 3:33 p.m. We're going to start at 3:33. And so I'm hosting a gathering called Storytime with the Transcestors, a masterclass on lineage storytelling and energetic activism. And so during that masterclass, I'll share more just about how this works. I'll show you how I do it. And then for anyone who wants to participate, of course, nothing is obligation. If you listen, you can just listen. You don't have to participate. But for those in the actual energy healing, but for those who want to, we'll share, just a very beautiful, simple prayer and healing for welcoming the new year. And we're going to root down into our freedom requirements for our lives and for the life on our beloved planet, including the places on the planet and in ourselves that are experiencing the most harm right now. And then on January 1st, when Mercury is stationed, like I talked about in the last video about the Mercury station, we're going to send that medicine to the land and let it do its thing. Okay, so I was organizing this as a Zoom event, and thank you to everybody who registered their email for that. But, with ancestor work, sometimes we are just adjusting things day by day. And now it's clear to me that this transmission that I'm doing on New Year's Eve afternoon, it wants to just be broadcasted in a more public way rather than on Zoom. So I'm going to do it right here on YouTube Live, not on Zoom. And I'll also have it on my Instagram Live. So you can still join, you can still participate. It'll just be on YouTube and Instagram instead of Zoom. So you can, go to my channel and click live and you'll see the upcoming event. And you can just click the get notified and they'll send you a reminder and you can watch. And there will be a chat open and all that. So and I will also send the replay out through my email list as well. And if you want to be on my email list, you can sign up via my website. And if you want to participate in the energy healing, I recommend that you have a representative of water and fire close to you while you listen to what I share and my stories and my teachings. So that can be keeping water in a beautiful bowl or cup, ideally not plastic, but and then some fire. So whether that's, lighting a candle or burning some herbs or incense or whatever makes sense to you. I hope to see you there, but also part 2 of this topic coming soon in the next video. So I will see you there. Peace.